Hi, I'm Stanley Bentu, and welcome to Nuts and Bolts. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has asked Nigerians recently to learn from Rwanda on how to build a nation devoid of ethnic biases. Now, Jonathan, in his keynote address to mark the 80th birthday of an elder statesman, that is Chief Emmanuel Iwanyao in Owerri, Imo State, said that Nigerians should be inspired by the people of Rwanda in their efforts to overcome national challenges. The ex-president said that Nigerians had played ethnic politics to the detriment of their national cohesion. So, he urged Nigerians to use the 2023 general elections to fix this.
Let us look at the case of Rwanda, a country that is adapting to their situation. We had a gory experience of genocide. They reconfigured their nation so that in today's Rwanda, tribe is no longer an issue. They all see themselves as one people. I'm not saying Nigeria should do exactly like Rwanda, but there are different ways we will do so that these problems we're having that is dividing us could be reduced. The incoming Nigerian leaders, luckily elections are coming, must take deliberate steps to whittle down the ethnic cleavages pulling us apart and pulling the nation backward.
So, does Nigeria have anything to learn from Rwanda? Well, let's get into the nuts and bolts of that.
In 1990, the Rwandan Patriotic Front, a rebel group composed of nearly 500,000 Tutsi refugees, invaded northern Rwanda from their base in Uganda. Though there had been historical tension between the Hutus and the Tutsis, two ethnic groups in the country, this marked the official beginning of the Rwandan Civil War. The rebel group condemned the Hutu-dominated government for failing to democratize and confront the problems facing these refugees. Neither side was able to gain a decisive advantage in the war, but by 1992, it had weakened President Juvenal Habyarimana's authority. Mass demonstrations and protests forced him into a political coalition with the domestic opposition and eventually led him to sign the 1993 Arusha Accords with the RPF.
The government of the Republic of Rwanda and the Rwandese Patriotic Front for this great day. Thank you all for your kind attention. It has to be noted here that one of the positive outcomes of the Arusha peace process is the restoration of confidence and trust among the two parties. This could be said as a continuing one of critical factors which are necessary for the Arusha peace process, has instilled hope among the Rwandese people, and they are now determined to guard jealously the long-awaited peace and stability.
The ceasefire ended on the 6th of April 1994 when Habyarimana's plane was shot down near Kigali airport, which killed him.
It's been a long story, it's been a very painful story. The shooting down of the president's plane in 1994, an event that was widely seen as the trigger for the genocide in Rwanda. In that genocide, the big question, who shot down the plane?
The shooting down of the former president's plane served as the catalyst for the Rwandan genocide, which started within a few hours. Over the course of roughly 100 days, between 500,000 and 1 million Tutsi and moderate Hutu citizens were killed in well-planned attacks on the orders of the interim government.
This was a road leading out of Rwanda as slaughter on a mass scale tore the country apart. These people made it to safety, but another 800,000 were slaughtered. Most were members of the Tutsi ethnic group.
But there's a lady who was walking, hiding, and she had a baby. And she had her ID, and she was just shown her ID, and they just cut her head off. She had a baby. I can't tell how old she was, but was so young because she was still feeding her. And walking, seeing this woman being killed, and seeing the child sucking from its mother when it's dead, I was devastated.
The Tutsi RPF restarted their offensive and eventually took control, methodically gaining control of the whole country. When the RPF took over, roughly 2 million Hutu fled to neighboring countries, in particular Zaire, because they were afraid of reprisals. This didn't happen. Instead, within Rwanda itself, a period of reconciliation and justice began with the establishment of the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda and the introduction of gacaca, a traditional village court system. Enter Paul Kagame, the military leader of the RPF and vice president since 1994.
Well, truly we have come from far, almost to non-existence, to now where we are. The country is stable, it's peaceful, we're making progress, there is growth, there is development. People are coming back together. The country was so divided in the past. Now there is unity in the country.
Social services like education, healthcare, housing, and livestock are provided to the needy. There was no distinction of ethnicity, your region of origin, where you come from. Those are former forms of discrimination that characterized the governments leading up to the genocide against the Tutsi. Kagame, as a leader of the RPF, brought all of that to an end. 25 years after the genocide, the wounds are slowly healing. Survivors still see Kagame as the guarantor of their existence. He pardoned the perpetrators and set the country on a journey to unity and reconciliation. Kagame has been tough in his style of governance, uncompromising and very tough on corruption, populism, and divisive speech. Politicians with hate-charged rhetoric have consistently faced harsh sentences and very long prison terms.
But in other words, corruption needs to be tackled from the top down. This is not only the fairest approach, it is also the most effective.
Speech is regulated in Rwanda to prohibit ethnic prejudice, while democracy was trimmed and tailored to the peculiar predicament facing the Rwandan people. A new unified country had somehow been built with the same people, killers and their victims living side by side with a unity of purpose, the betterment of their village, their district, and their entire country.
You've spoken a lot about democracy, and I would just like to point to the accusations of human rights abuses in terms of the elimination of your political opponents or the oppression of the press, and I would just like to hear your comments towards that.
It's always difficult to accuse me of anything and then say, prove yourself innocent. I think I want to turn it to you and say, prove me guilty. But my answer is simple, is to do my best to serve my people the best way they can be served. That is the answer.
Rwandan mothers receive anti- and postnatal health care, and maternal mortality ratios in the country decreased by 77% between 2000 and 2013. All newborns are vaccinated, the city is clean, and people can walk around safely at night. Political ministers no longer require personal security details. These ministers are often told, your security will be guaranteed, like that of other Rwandan citizens. Some outsiders seem concerned that Kagame has not groomed a successor. And although there are no crown princes in Rwanda, the president has chosen to groom thousands of young men and young women in particular to lead the country into the future. The average age of his cabinet is 40 years. Women make up 50% of the cabinet, 61.5% of the parliament, and 50% of the Supreme Court judges. Progress is visible. Kagame's Rwanda is still Africa's most inspiring success story. And this is all due to three main things: good governance, social development, and internal security.
Now, if that doesn't inspire you, then I don't know what will. Considering how cynical and self-loathing a few Nigerians are about their own country, just knowing that Rwanda was in a much more deplorable condition back in 1994 and has managed to make itself an internationally relevant nation in the knowledge economy community should signal to us that with quality leadership, which we can grow right here at home by ourselves in our own institutions, Nigeria can become a major global economic powerhouse. After all, we do have so much more going for us. So, do you agree that Nigeria has much to learn from Rwanda? What else do you think that we can learn from them, or maybe that they can learn from us? Let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe and ring the bell so that you can be notified every time a new video of Nuts and Bolts, or from First Wave TV, arrives.
Preview.